Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be ways that guys delude themselves. Well, I got 4 emails I'm going to go through with you today, and the first 2 of them are really interesting because this is something that all human beings, all of us, are guilty of doing, is seeing things other than they really are. In other words, bullshitting ourselves. And so what you'll see as I go through these emails with these guys is what's interesting is their perception that they have of what they are doing and the perception of the harm that they're doing to their relationship or the chances with the women that they're involved with. And obviously I'll point out the reality, which is, if you've been following me for a while, it'll be pretty blatantly obvious what's going on here. Because you'll see how these guys, they talk about, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, and then they go through and they explain their actions. And it's clear as a bell that you can see what they're doing wrong. And this is something that everybody suffers from, because when you have a fear, an irrational fear, a limiting belief, and that's something that's always going on in your mind. Like all of us have, one of the things that I learned from the Date with Destiny seminar that I did, that Tony Robbins had, it was probably about 10 years ago actually, that I did this particular seminar. And one of the things he does is he takes you through a process of how to help you arrive at what your primary question is. In other words, all of us have one question that's basically constantly, whether you realize it or not, you have a primary question that you're always asking yourself. And for most of us, it's something that is unconsciously happening. In other words, we're not really thinking about it, but it's always there. And for most people, like I know myself personally, I had a question that I was constantly asking myself, and actually a girlfriend of mine that I ended up meeting at that particular seminar, she had the same exact question that she was asking herself. And when we got to the process, it was, why am I still not happy? And so you can imagine if you have a primary question that no matter what's going on in your life, no matter how much things are going great and you have every reason to be excited, if you're constantly asking yourself, why am I still not happy? Why am I still not happy? Why am I still not happy? Your brain has no choice but to give you an answer based upon that. And that's just the primary question that's always going on there. And so for me, I presuppose that no matter how great things got, I wasn't going to be happy no matter what. And so you see all these great things going on in your life, and anybody else could be on the outside going, wow, you have a really great life. You have all this great stuff going on. And you're going, because you see people that are very successful. You look at a lot of celebrities, like the guy who was the guitarist, one of the guitarists for Def Leppard, a very famous rock and roll band. And he died 10, 15 years ago at this point. And one of the things that a couple of the people that knew him very well, they said he was the unhappiest millionaire that I ever met in my life. And a lot of people that are very successful and very well off, they might have every reason to be happy and successful in life, but because of what they focus on, usually in a lot of cases because they have a really shitty primary question that they're asking themselves, they never let themselves be happy. And so it's really helpful to monitor. It's like Master Yoda said in the Return of the Jedi and The Empire Strikes Back, is be mindful of your thoughts. And it's really true, because you got to think about, what are you always asking yourself? Because your brain has no choice but to give you more of what you focus on. So if you're asking really crappy questions, whether you're conscious and aware of it, or it's unconsciously happening and it's just going on all the time, that is going to determine where you end up. And the reason being is people will do more to avoid pain than they'll do to gain pleasure. So if you have goals and dreams and wants and things that you want in life, but you have all these negative associations and disempowering questions that you're constantly asking yourself, that are constantly getting rehearsed over and over in your mind, that's going to affect, because when you have action that you know you need to take, but then you have a thought, oh, that might lead to pain, or oh, that might not work out for me. I was talking to a cousin of mine earlier this morning. We were visiting together, and she was talking about, she's a writer. She loves to write. She's a fantastic fucking writer, but she's working a job that she's just not into. And one of the things that she was saying is like, oh, I love writing, but there's no money in it. And I said, there's lots of people that make a lot of money being really successful writers. But if you focus on only the people that aren't making any money, that aren't doing really well, then yeah, your brain's going to give you all the reasons why there's no money in writing. and you're not going to look at any of the possibilities. And so therefore, since there's no money in writing, and her, the way, that's the model, her model of the world, that's how she talks to herself. Therefore, she can't see and notice all the successful people that are making money as successful writers. Obviously, I do very well. Even though I'm not really a writer, I do write. It's part of what I do for a living. And I'm very good at it because I've been practicing it over and over and over again. And I'm effective that way. And she's just naturally talented in that particular field. But yet, she's working a job that she really doesn't like. And she's not doing what she really wants to do in life because of the rules and her belief system. So literally, before she even starts, she's already given up because I want to be a writer. I love writing, but there's no money in it. I said, don't model the success of people that are failures as writers. Go look at who are the successful people that are making all the money as writers. Go model the success of what they're doing. It may take you a decade to get there. You might not make a bunch of money for several years, but if you continue to refine your approach, adapt, improvise, overcome, compensate, always notice what's working, what's not working, and continuing to constantly try new things. Always be looking to study people that are already successful at what it is that you want to be successful at in life, and then model their success, do the same things that they're doing. You'll get the same results in your own life. It's like somebody says, oh, I need to lose 50 pounds. Oh, but going to the gym is such a pain in the ass. Oh, it's raining outside. Oh, it's cold out. I don't like working out. I don't like being sore. Those are the type of things that people, oh, I don't have the time. That's one of the biggest things people say, oh, I want to set these goals, but you know what? I don't have time to do that. You know, I really should be taking my wife out and dating her more, but you know what? I just don't have the time. We're so busy with the kids and this and that. Then all of a sudden, divorce attorney comes along. Guess what? He seems to be able to make time to hang out with his divorce attorney. I mean, think about it. So I got a quote that I wrote on this topic before we get into the first guy's email. And it says, you should always be aware of your own self-talk and how you tend to perceive things. Most people are constantly saying and repeating things to themselves internally that are depressing, negative, limiting, expecting of fearful outcomes, or automatically expecting that things won't work out for them. Your brain is like a computer. It is forced to give you results to focus on that are a match with whatever you are thinking about and feeling internally. You get what you focus on in life. Our thoughts produce emotions. Our emotions cause us to move towards what feels good and away from what feels bad. That's what Tony called, I learned in Date with Destiny, he calls it moving towards values and moving away values. So if you've got a list of things that you want to move towards in your life that bring you a positive feeling when you think about them and you think about achieving them, and then the moving away values are the painful things that you're trying to avoid. Not taking action. Well, that's going to cause me pain. I'm never going to achieve my goal. I'm never going to achieve my results. That's going to really suck. That's going to hurt. It's going to be really sad 10 years from, because you have to do something with your life. So whatever you do right now today, that determines where you're going to be in 10 years. And if you're just constantly psyching yourself out, coming up with excuses and reasons and rules why you'll never get there, or there's no money being a writer, or there's no money in being a musician, then you won't even start. You won't even try to start doing the things that you need to do and become really great at anything in life. You got to have a passion for it, because if you don't have a passion for it, you'll never do what's required in order to be successful at it. And repetition is the mother of skill. Excellence is not a singular act. It's a habit. You are what you do repeatedly. And if you got something that you want to do, but you got all these rules, and you got this model of the world that says, oh, there's no money in there, I'll never be successful at it, I'm not smart enough, I don't have enough education, I'm not good enough, you won't even do the first thing to help yourself. You won't even take the first step to move in that direction. And that's why it's really important to know what you want, why you want it, have an emotionally compelling reason why you want to accomplish it, and then to come up with some daily success rituals, some small daily goals, some things that you can do, some action that you take, because it's just like the Buddha said, faith without action is meaningless. So let's finish with the quote that I wrote. It says, if your mind is subconsciously or unconsciously focusing on what you do not want or want to avoid instead of what you do want, you will literally take actions that drive yourself away from your goals, desires, dreams, needs, and wants without realizing it. If you are not mindful of your thoughts, focus, and actions, You'll end up somewhere you don't want to be and unaware of how you put yourself there. You'll also be like most unconsciously conscious people who are willing to admit to themselves how they are the source of their own struggles, hardships, and failures. So let's go ahead and jump right into the first email. He says, "Hey Corey." He says, "I'm 21 years old. I'm a good-looking guy. I'm a male model. I work out a lot and I get a lot of attention. At the end of the day, that's great that you have all those things, and you'll be able to attract a lot more women than the actual average dude who's not a male model is. But at the end of the day, if you don't know how to treat them properly, if you're constantly acting like you don't deserve to be with them or you don't believe it's going to work out, then that's going to affect the actions that you're going to take. And if you're not aware of your thoughts and what you're thinking about and what you're focusing on, you're actually going to take actions without even realizing you're doing it that are going to sabotage your success. You're literally shooting yourself in the foot on purpose without realizing that you're doing it on purpose." He says, "But this email is going to be about my ex-girlfriend who's the same age as me. A bit of a backstory. We were with each other for 3 years, and for all of those years, she was completely besotted with me." I don't know if I said that right. I've used that word like once or twice in my life. "A little obsessive, always wanted to see me, and back then I was pure alpha and I didn't care as much as she just wanted to see me more and more. So you were indifferent. You were focused on your mission, your purpose in life. She was doing almost all of the calling, texting, and pursuing. Why? Because that's feminine energy. Feminine energy is about bonding, connecting, receiving, opening up to receive love. I mean, women are physically designed to receive us in every single way. So it's like once the guy starts the courtship off, within a few dates, he really doesn't even have to call her, text her, or pursue her anymore because she'll want to call, "Hey, how are you? How you doing? I was thinking about you. I was wondering what you're up to. I saw a movie last night and it reminded me of you." That's what they typically say. They're not going to call you and ask you out. They're going to call in order to bond and connect and make it easy for you to make the next date. That's why they're reaching out to you in the first place. That's why you always assume when a woman reaches out, she wants to see you make a date. Don't sit there and psych yourself out and go, "Well, it probably don't work out." Or, "Oh, if I ask her out for a date, it'll come off as being needy." Or, "Oh, if I ask her out for a date, I'm just going to wait a couple of days." There's no reason to. There's absolutely no reason to do that. Just be direct, be decisive. That's what masculine energy is all about. That's what women love about men. Direct, decisive, get right to the fucking point, and make something happen. Take action. He says, "The last couple of months I've been acting pretty beta after a temporary breakup we had for a month. I wanted her back. She took me back but had all of the control and she abused it. You invited her to do that. You enabled her behavior, and that's what happens when you chase a woman. Sometimes you might be able to get a girl back by chasing her, but it never is going to last because you're always coming from a weak place. You're always giving your power away and you're pursuing her, in essence, acting like the woman, and that's why she takes you for granted and jerks you around. And that's why I teach that when a woman dumps you, you walk and you never look back. And if she reaches, and you just say, "Hey, if you change your mind, I'd love to see you, but I'm not interested in just being friends." He says, "Anyway, she broke up with me again, and I did what you said, and obviously it worked. It worked so well that she actually ended up turning up at my house at 3:30 in the morning, so desperate to have sex with me." Oh, you poor baby. I bet that was really tough to deal with. "It was like this for a week, and she initiated contact every time." That's why I say, like, literally when you understand human behavior, when you understand the things that I talk about in my book, you literally can set your watch to it. Women become totally, absolutely predictable. And sometimes guys are like, "Yeah, women make no sense." It's like bullshit. They make complete sense when you understand what drives them and what motivates them. If you just show up and act like a man, James Bond style, they'll be all over your fucking ass. He says, "I followed all the rules and just made dates." Imagine what happens when you follow the fundamentals. Makes it easy and effortless the way it's supposed to be. He says, "After that, though, I had to reject her offer to meet up when she knew I was out but wanted to see me, and I told her that I obviously can't because she knows I'm out with my friends." Well, then you say, you don't just blow her off and say, "Okay, remember, when the woman reaches out, you make a fucking date. If you can't do it right then and there, just say, 'Baby, I really want to see you, but I'm with my buddies right now. When are you free to get together? I want to see you. Tomorrow night? Great, 8 o'clock. How about my house?'" And a lot of guys make the mistake. They're like, "Oh, I'm busy." And then they just hang up. They end the conversation without having set a date. So then you feel anxious and antsy about not making a date in the future. And she feels rejected that you didn't make a date with her. Whereas if you just made the date, you would have given her what she needed. Now you're going to see her a couple of days in advance, and guess what? She's going to be thinking about you the whole time, looking forward to you, looking forward to seeing you. And guess what that does? It has a positive effect on her attraction level. It actually makes her want you more in between the time that you set the date and you actually see her. He says, I suggested meeting the next day, and she agreed. Since then, she was being really bitchy, and the only time women get bitchy around a guy is when they're acting weak. When you're letting her walk all over you, or you're not opening her up emotionally. And I talk about that extensively in my book. Another reason why you need to read the book 10 to 15 times. You got to get to know the fundamentals so well you don't have to think about it. And she kept trying to make me jealous by telling me about the other guys that like her or that she's seeing. I played it cool. Whatever. It's like, that's like the catch-all. I played it cool, man. I played it cool and acted like I didn't care, as I know she was only doing it to make me jealous and trying to get me to react and become beta male again. At the end of the day, you make a date and you get off the phone and you just say, baby, you know what? I don't care about those guys. They can keep you busy when you're not with me because I'm the most awesome guy that you've ever met. We always have a great time together. I can't wait to see you again. I can't wait to kiss you and hold you and make love to you. You're awesome. We're going to have a good time. Change the subject. Keep it focused on what you want it to be focused on. Remember, you're the fucking king of your kingdom. Act like it, dude. He says, this drove her crazy every time because she literally thought I didn't care. This led to her becoming cold and distant. You were being a little bit too cold. Remember, she reaches out, just make a date. You don't have to be a jerk to her. You don't have to be cold. She's calling you. She's chasing you. That's fucking easy. If the girl's chasing you, calling you, all you gotta do is make the next date and get off the phone. You don't have to be a jerk. If you're a jerk to her, then she's going to try to punish you back. And that's just going to create unnecessary drama and problems. Like, why do that? Make it easy. He says, this led to her becoming cold and distant only when we actually met up, though. And she wouldn't let me touch her properly, so I just backed off the way you say to do it. That's when she's kind of cold like that, then just get her to talk. Stop touching her and let her come to you. Maybe it's an hour later before she starts touching. That's why you got to talk and get her to open up about everything that's going on. And then she'll reveal what's bothering you. What else, honey? Tell me more. Don't leave anything out. So you're upset when I did this? Okay, I understand. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I was a jerk then. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Come over here and kiss me, baby. I'm sorry. Get her a little close, kiss. I mean, that's how you do it, dude. I go into extensive detail about that in my book. But you got to get women to talk. Remember, on a daily basis, women tend to say about 8,000 words and guys say about 2,000. What does that tell you? Women like to talk. And if you're a smart man, you'll get her to talk. That'll call it. Because women work through their issues by talking about them. Even if she's pissed off at you, she'll talk about why she's pissed off. And you just sit there going, oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry, sweetie. Yeah, you're right. that was kind of a dick move. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. It hurt your feelings. And then when she realizes that you're understanding how you hurt her, it makes her open up even more. It makes her want to see you. It makes her, open up to want to receive you. And when she does that, when she feels comfortable, guess what? She's going to start touching you again. When she starts touching you, that means, hey, I want to receive you. Then you start touching and slowly reciprocating. It makes it so much easier. He says, so she wanted to go out on this double date with our friends that are a couple. And I'm just going to copy and paste the text, and I want reassurance and confirmation from you that I've played this right and what to do next. So it's interesting. He says that she actually, it was her idea to go on a double date. And since you're not officially back together, I wouldn't be doing any double dates. It should be just the two of you because you need to regrow your bond and your connection. And once she wants to be exclusive again and you're back together and you're hanging out just like you used to be when everything was great, then you can start going out on double dates and stuff like that, but not before then. So he says this double date was supposedly her idea, right? Well, let's look at this is the actual text here. And she says, if you're doing that double date thing this week, just know I can't do it Wednesday. Does that sound like a girl whose idea it was to go on the double date? And then he says, okay, babe, it looks like that's going to be the weekend because the girl, I'm not going to say her name, finishes quite late most nights. In other words, the girlfriend of the dude they're double dating with. And he says, so shall I come around tomorrow night and you can seduce me? So shall I come around tomorrow night and you can seduce me? Oh, please, Your Highness, can I spend time with you? Oh, I just want to touch you again. Please, please. Does that sound confident and strong, or does that sound weak as hell? Well, first off, I wouldn't be making a double date with anybody. But I would have just, when she said, if you're doing that double date thing, just know I can't do Wednesday. All right, babe, no problem. When are you free? When's a good night for you that we can do this? And then you make plans. But when you say, so shall I come around tomorrow night and you can seduce me, that's approval-seeking behavior. That's asking the woman to make the decision. You're right there, you're asking her to be the man. That's going to cause her to be bitchy, and it's going to cause her to just go around in circles and not really get anywhere. Why? Because it's your job to be direct and decisive and make the date happen. The way you're asking is approval-seeking. And I know you think you're doing everything right, but when you talk this way, no, you're not. I mean, look at that statement. So shall I come around tomorrow night and you can seduce me? That's something a woman would say who's unsure of herself. And she says, no, I'm busy, unfortunately. If you don't want to take me because I don't want to sleep with you. And then he says, it's not because you won't sleep with me, but I love us two spending time together, but more in a romantic way rather than being your male girlfriend mincing around sort of way. How would you say that, dude? She says, we don't always have to sleep together because that's what I don't want to do. And then he says, can you reiterate that? We can't be romantic because I don't want that sort of relationship with you. And then he says, okay, babe, it's totally fine. I don't want this friend relationship with you, but if your feelings change, give me a call. And then she says, okay. Well, you're obviously leaving some details out, but with the little bit that you shared, you're not making yourself look confident. You should be making dates and getting right to the fucking point. I mean, you've been hanging out, having fun, and hooking up with her, but something was going sideways there, and like I said, the clues that you give away, was like I said, even though you say it was her idea to go on a double date, the way it sounds in her text, it looks like it was your idea to go on a double date, and like she wasn't really down with that. Because it's like a couple type thing. If you're doing a double date, then you're dating. That's relationship kind of thing. So that's why it sounds like she's not really down with that. So then he says, a week later, she sends me a text saying that she always knew I cheated on her on holiday with a girl that I met on a cruise 2 years ago. And the reason she said this is because that she saw that this girl liked a photo of mine on Facebook recently. The truth of the matter is I never cheated on my ex, and me and this girl on holiday were just friends and nothing else. I went to California last year with me and my ex my ex and I split temporarily, and I met up with the holiday girl. And again, nothing happened, just friends as she's got a boyfriend. But obviously my ex thinks something did happen. My ex sent a text moaning and saying that even though she ended it, it still hurts. Well, if it bothers her that you hung out with this other girl who was just as a friend, that means that she still cares. That means you still got a chance. He says, I just restated what I told her before, played it off cool, and said, we don't need to have these types of conversations anymore, after she texted back and said, I suppose you want to get together. She said, nope, was just raising a problem that I once came across, which I replied, let me know when you change your mind, and she put back, don't think I will be. He says, I didn't reply after that, and I felt as if I ended the conversation by leaving her the offer if she changed her mind. Well, that's all you can do at that particular point. I really hope I played it right and will make me feel so much better if I get that confirmation myself. I've heard nothing since, and I'm trying to let it not bother me, but it's left me really confused. I don't understand why she wanted me so much. Then once I say I don't want friendship, she doesn't want to know because she's that adamant. Again, it's like you're focusing on a label. You're trying to get some kind of way. You're trying to look and see if there's some way that you're actually locking this girl down, that she's actually committing to you, and that's a bad way to go about it. Your job is to create an opportunity for sex to happen. That's it, dude. And there's a lot more going on subconsciously that you're not really paying attention to here. And so the things you're saying and doing, you're sabotaging your own success here. He says, I would love to know what to do next and how to feel better about the whole situation because I literally feel like I've been broken up with her again. Right now I'm in love with her and I've been practicing social skills and pickups with women, but even though I can easily get to the stage of getting them to bed, I don't want to. I feel like because I've done so much sexually with my ex, Every time I'm with another girl, they just don't do it for me. I can't even get arousal that I need, but when I'm with my ex, it's the complete opposite. What's wrong with me? Well, listen to that statement. What's wrong with me, Corey? There's something wrong with me, and now your brain's going, let me find what's wrong with you. And it's going to come up with reasons for that. That's not a helpful statement to be asking yourself. So what's wrong with you is you don't know the fundamentals. That's part of the problem. And the other part of the problem is your behavior is approval seeking. You're still acting weak. The limited way that you're interacting with her, I pointed it out, you're acting weak. And therefore she's jerking you around. Be direct, get right to the point. Stop trying to do double dates and do things that couples do. Your job is to create the next fun-filled romantic opportunity for sex to happen. That is it, dude. So I wait to hear from her, and when you do hear from her, say, hey, babe, great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. When you're free to get together, invite her to come to your place. Hang out, have fun, and hook up at your place. That's what you need to do. And then you can start doing other things. As she starts coming back to you more and more, you make more and more dates to see her. And then that way, she's the one that's speeding things up. It's not you trying to lock her down to a commitment. So let's get to the second email. This guy says, I started dating a girl at my college, and we were both grad students. I had the first kiss on our second date, and before we knew it, we were making out heavily in my car on the third. Fourth date, she admits she's never taken on a date before. She's never been on a date before. All right. And not one person has ever called her beautiful and she says, let's take it slow. When a woman says, let's take it slow, it means, dude, you're like rushing this thing along. You're pushing right up against my comfort barrier, and I'm not feeling really comfortable. You're making me feel like you're in a relationship with me, and that's too much too soon. He says, however, she was very into me sexually and emotionally. Anyways, 4 to 8 dates go just as well, and I follow your rules, and she chases me always. It starts to sour around week 7. I invited her to a family gathering, and she eventually said, I'm torn. I think it's a little too soon to meet your family. Again, another reason why you don't do group dates and you don't do double dates. She's not your girlfriend officially. She hasn't brought it up yet. This tells me you're focused on trying to lock her down to a commitment, trying to parade her around to everybody in your life like, hey, look, it's my girlfriend. And she's saying, whoa, slow your roll, dude. So week 7, she should be head over heels in love with you. What that tells me that even though you think you're following everything I teach, it's obviously you're not. And just this little statement here from her, I'm torn because I think it's a little too soon to meet your whole family. That's a girl whose interest is probably a 5 or a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. A woman needs to be around a 9 in order for her to be falling in love and bringing up the boyfriend-girlfriend thing. Then she's going to be like, oh, I'd love to meet your family. But you're pushing things along too soon because you're thinking, oh, it's week 7. I hear Corey always talking about how people are, if you follow what I teach, what he teaches in his book, the girl will be in love after week 7. And you're not looking at her actions. Her actions show quite the opposite. You're the one that's kind of, sounds like you're probably chasing her a little too much. He says, she came over and we had a great date as usual. Same type of thing happened again at a Christmas party. And I realized I need to back off and do the very next day after the party. And she hits me up with texts and smiley faces. I give her minimal responses. 2 days later, she hits me up via text again. I back off again. Why are you not making dates? When she reaches out, it means she wants to see you. But it's like some guys are reading shit on other forums and websites and they're going, oh, let me just ignore her. Let me not do anything. And then they wonder why they're not getting dates with the girl. Because eventually she starts to think, oh, it isn't like me anymore. And then she starts backing off. And then he becomes fearful. And sometimes women will turn you down for a date just to punish you because you didn't invite them out the last time they asked. Or that they got in contact with you. You're making things way harder than they need to be. He says, I back off again, then she hits me up the next day, and then I make the date. It's like, why did it take you 3 or 4 days to get around to making a date, dude? He says, our last date was a disaster, and she told me that she took a job in Texas, and she left really early, and we both sensed something was wrong. Still very sexual with each other. Were you actually having sex? What does that mean? We were very sexual. Usually guys say something like that because it means they're not actually having sex. We were touching each other. We were kissing. It was very sexual. Very sexual kissing. He says, I break your rule. I decided to tell her I'm crazy about her, and she was supposed to move this month anyway, and if I didn't, I would always regret it. Come on, man. She turns the conversation around and says now she's not a good person, and she gives me the, it's not you, it's me. What that means is, dude, it's totally you, and you're acting like a woman, therefore I don't want to be in a relationship with you. And on top of that, I'm moving to another state. It's been great. But then proceeds to tell me how much she loved our dates. I was hurt so bad, but I played it off cool. I played it off cool. I just love it how I played it off cool, man. Yeah. Like Fonzie. Hey. Played it off cool and even kissed her goodnight. And she said, so, friends? And I said, not interested in that. Good job. At least you did one thing right. And the whole, give me a call if you change your mind. He says, I messed up. I could tell I wanted a relationship. Or she could tell I wanted a relationship. It was like, duh. But I followed all the rules before then. No, you didn't, dude. You're bullshitting yourself. She was always pursuing. Time comes for her to move. And job situation changes. And she starts in May now. And I have to see her every day because we work in the same building. I see her 3 to 4 times a day for short periods of time. And it makes me sick to see her. And I'm really heartbroken about it. Should I walk away because of the pain I'm feeling? But I can't. How do I act if I want to take her out and get romantic again before she moves? Cold and different. Well, don't go out of your way to see her. Just if you see her, like, hey, how are you? And just keep on walking. That means you're being nice, which means it's okay for her to approach you. And then that way, if she comes over to you, it's like, hey, how you doing? Hey, we should get together and catch up. I'd love to see you when you're free. Why don't you grab a bottle of wine, come on over to my place, we'll make dinner together. Oh, you don't want to do that? All right, well, give me a call if you change your mind. Hey, I got to run. It's nice seeing you. Bye. You make a date or you leave. It's as simple as that. Whether it's leaving the conversation in person or it's leaving a text exchange that's happening. Your goal is to be direct, decisive, get right to the fucking point, and make a date. Be friendly, be kind. Don't go out of your way to go see her. Wave to her if you see her across the room, and then just keep going on about whatever it is that you're doing. If she wants to reach out to you, she will. If she texts you, assume she's changed her mind and she wants to see you. Make a date to hang out and have fun and hook up at your place, just like I talk about in my book. He says, and more importantly, what does that entail? Just saying good morning and then ignoring her or teasing her like a bratty little sister? What would I do? I come in contact with her. Well, I just told you what to do specifically. So if you follow that, you'll be fine. And so you'll either never hear from her again, or she'll start calling you, or she'll come over. If she comes over to talk to you, assume it's because she wants to go out with you. Try to make a date in a spot. If she won't do it, she gives you an excuse, or she says, I'm just interested in being friends, and then you reiterate, hey, I'm not interested in that, but if you change your mind, I'd love to see you. Hey, I got to run. Have a great afternoon. And then you go on about your business. So let's get into the third email. This guy says, hey, Coach, I've been reading your book as much as I can, but it's as difficult as I'm also in college full-time and work. There's another guy. Oh, I just don't have the time to read your book. Well, you're going to be fucking up. You're going to be making unnecessary mistakes, and you're going to be blowing great opportunities with women that are all around you when you're in college, dude. It's like they're fucking everywhere. They're beautiful, and they're experimenting, and they're just waiting to meet guys that just know what they're doing so they can just have really great sex and hook up and have a good time, because now they're away from their parents for the first time, and now they get to really be who they are without mom and dad in their business all the time. He says, on the other hand, your videos have been absolutely helpful in many ways. All that tells me, hey, Corey, I'm substituting your videos for reading your book because I'm just so darn busy with college. Well, you're going to keep fucking up unnecessarily, and you're going to experience a lot of pain, and you're going to miss out on a bunch of opportunities. And if you just took the time to read the book, it'd be a lot easier. He says, to refresh your memory from our last phone session, I was with my ex for about 2 years. 1 year was long distance after I moved, and now, he says, I acted needy by apologizing about neglecting her a lot after I moved, and I even brought her flowers to her doorstep and was rejected yet again. Never works, dude. It's like a bribe for sex. Hey, here's some flowers. Want some dick? That's basically how it comes off. He says, although she sent me a text thanking me for it and apologizing about being awkward, I ended up spending the night at my friend's house. Anyway, I last texted her on New Year's Eve, which I got no response to. I did not contact her at all after that, like you taught me. I've been practicing my dating skills, and I'm currently dating a girl from my college. Well, good for you. I've also been taking my alpha male status everywhere I go. Good. I look people in the eyes, and I smile a lot. Last week, my ex sent me a text which read, I hope everything is going well. I wish you the best, which I responded, hey, thanks, and the same to you. I have not contacted her since, and I really want to set a definite date when she contacted me, but I felt like it would seem too needy. Well, I would have just, it's like, here's an opportunity. You don't really know. She's reaching you. She's reaching out to you. You should assume that she wants to see you. I would have just said, when she says, I wish you all the best, I would have said, exactly, you too. I'd love to see you. You know, if you're around, you want to get together, you know, when are you free? Just like that. Let her tell him. She's like, oh, I don't know. I'm not coming to town. Great. Give me a call if you change your mind. Because what she's doing is she's just kind of putting her finger in the water because she realized that, you know, it's been almost a month since New Year's and she hasn't heard from you. So it's starting to have an effect on her. So she's reaching out. So she's reaching out and acting like, oh, yeah, have a nice life, basically. But what she's really trying to do is gauge where you're at. If you moved on, if you got a new girl, if you don't give a fuck anymore, if you're completely over, whatever. And that's why you always assume that if she reaches out, she wants to see you. Hey, great to hear from you. I'm doing great. I'd really love to see you. If you're free to get together sometime, have her drive to where you are. I think you said she's like an hour away or something like that. Make her work to come see you. She's the one that blew you off, and now she's starting to reach out. He says, okay, so here's a dilemma. Her birthday is the middle of February on Valentine's Day, of course. I wouldn't do anything. I already know what you're asking me. Nope. You're looking for a reason to contact her again to try to make something happen. It's called the illusion of action. Do you recommend for me to stay with the no contact rule or wish her a happy birthday or Valentine's Day? Absolutely. You walk and you never look back. Walking and never looking back means exactly that. She blew you off, dude. You brought fucking flowers to her doorstep like a little puppy dog, and what happened? You got nowhere. He says, or perhaps send her something? Illusion of action, bro. I really want to be with her again, but the problem is the long distance thing affected her, so it will only work if we're in the same city. Think of that. That's your rule. Oh, it's only going to work if we're in the same city. So that's your belief, and that's going to affect everything you do and everything you say. That's your model of the world about this relationship, bro, and that's not helping you. Your attitude should be, I'm fucking a stud like James Bond. I'm that hot, and all women like me, and therefore, she'll come to see me. That's the way you should be thinking. So if she reaches out, she must want to see me. Let me make that happen in as few steps as possible. It's like this guy had a phone session with me. I told him exactly what to do, so she reaches out, and what does he do? Oh, I don't act needy. So he just goes around in circles. He's not direct, he's not decisive, and he does nothing. She told me she's planning to moving again after she graduates, which will be in the fall of this year. And with my degree, I also want to move to the same city and work there for a while. He says, I don't want to seem like a stalker, though. Well, nothing has changed since our last phone session. You need to do absolutely nothing. When she reaches out, assume she wants to see you, make a date. You had a missed opportunity there. It's like, it's like you paid me to give you advice. I gave you a good advice, and then you don't follow it. It's like, what can I do? And you got to understand, so why did you respond this way? Because your fears and your limiting beliefs, and that's why it's important to be aware of your own internal self-talk. It's like like I said, this guy knew exactly what to do, but he didn't do it. Why? Because his fears and his limiting beliefs, his irrational fears, overrode what he knew he should do. And now he's questioning himself. Now he's looking for excuses to start contacting her again. It didn't work before. It certainly ain't going to work again. So let's get into the final email. This guy says, hey, Corey, I saw a beautiful girl at a party, and she smiled at me, and I smiled back. But she left the party before I got any chance to talk to her. When you make eye contact like that, you go over to her right then and there. When you hesitate, you look like a fucking weak bitch. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And you're going to see what the girl says in response to that. Because women think if a guy's got confidence, if he's an alpha, he'll come over and talk to me if he likes me. That's how they think. And if you don't, they think, oh, he's either weak or he's gay. Or maybe he's taken. Or he doesn't like me. And if you later come over or you stalk her on social media somehow, they think, oh, this guy just doesn't have any balls. That's what it is. He says, I wrote her later on Facebook, hi, I saw you at my friend's party and I thought you were really beautiful and sexy and I would like to meet you. She responded, I feel uncomfortable when you told me that I am sexy. And I don't know if other girls like to hear that, but I'm flattered that you want to meet me. We can start here. And I really don't know who you are. You don't have any picture on your Facebook. So not only did you not approach her from the get-go, now you're making yourself look weak and creepy. Because you got no picture on Facebook and you're like, oh, you're very sexy. Think about it, dude. Think about how that's going to look. And it's all out of your fear to avoid rejection. So you're taking the most creepiest route to take. Because guys that are weird and got something wrong with them, that's what they do. And that's why it scares women when you do this. He responded, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but my heart pushed me to be honest. Yeah, we can do that. I was really sure that you knew who I was. I can add you on Facebook and you can watch my pictures. She wrote, I asked my friend and I now know who you are. But why should I know who you were? And listen to what she says. I assume if a guy is interested in a girl, he approaches her and you didn't. Boom. I assume if a guy is interested in a girl, he approaches her and you didn't. In other words, she's saying, dude, you weren't a man. You got to at least show up. Even if you get rejected, you got to at least fucking show up and go right over and let the girl, like, you are absolutely beautiful. You are so sexy. Women will love the fact that you have confidence. You walk right over. You're totally clear in your tent. She saw it in your eyes and you walked over and you totally lit her up. Why? Because most guys don't have the fucking balls to do this. And this is what women want. They just want a guy with confidence that'll come over and say exactly what is his mind. Instead of saying what was on his mind, he contacts her through a Facebook profile, which doesn't even have a picture of himself, and says, hey, baby, I find you really sexy. Think about it. It's a terrible way to go about it. I wrote, it just felt that you knew who I was. I wanted to approach you, but I didn't get an opportunity, so I'm not writing you now instead. And she wrote, haha, better late than never. After that, I wrote back, can I get your phone number? I want to hear your voice. Oh, that sounds so fucking creepy. She didn't respond after that. What did I do wrong? Well, I pretty much pointed that out, dude. Your whole approach is like typical nice guy that never gets laid type of behavior. And it's like, don't ever fucking ask a woman out like this. But it's like, what drove you to do this? Your fear of looking silly, your fear of getting rejected, your fear that she didn't like you. How would James Bond think? Of course she fucking wants me. I'm James Bond. All I gotta do is go over there and talk to her. I can see the way she's looking at me. She wants me to come over. Go over and do it. And the guy's thinking, oh, God, what am I going to think about? Oh, what am I going to talk about? What if there's a dead spot in the conversation? What if people look around and we're all just standing there looking at each other like, oh, what do I talk about? Who cares? If you like the girl, go over and talk to her. Make an effort. Start asking her questions. Who do you know? How do you know someone? If it's Bob's, hey, how do you know Bob? Oh, we used to work together. Oh, my sister used to date his roommate or whatever. Just ask questions. People love to talk about themselves. It breaks the ice. And if you're excited to see her, and it's really easy to talk to a girl that you really like because you're already enthusiastic about her. And if you have some of the questions, like some of the ones that I talk about in my book and some of the articles where I've written out a list of questions that are really great questions, great first date conversations. Let me think. If you Google Corey Wayne, great first date questions that create attraction. If you Google that phrase, it'll come out. There's like, I don't know, 15, 20 of them that I put down. Memorize a bunch of those. If you're one of those guys that's worried about choking, like the reason why you don't go and approach a girl because you're worried that you're going to run out of things to say, memorize a bunch of those questions, and then when you can always fall back on if there's ever a dead point in the conversation, you can ask her and get her to talk about those different things, and then you can lead the conversation in another direction. But you got to practice. You got to get out there and do it. This is the absolute worst way you can go about it. This is the creepiest way you can go about doing anything. And so you see what happened. You haven't heard from her since, and so you probably won't ever hear from her again. Chalk it up to experience, and next time when you see a girl that likes you, attraction is not a choice. She didn't have it. She couldn't help it. She was obviously looking at you. She liked you. You liked her. Mother Nature's already taken care of that. All you had to do was walk over there, and it was pretty much a done deal. But you literally talked a girl right out of liking you because you acted so creepy online. So don't ever do that again. If she ever does reach out to you, just say, hey, let's meet up for a drink sometime when you're free to get together. She probably won't, but just do that. And then she'll either make plans with you or she won't. Meet in a public place, a wine bar or something like that. Just keep it really simple. I'd say this when you pretty much screwed the pooch on. That's pretty much all you can do at this particular point. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.